I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Have you joined the fastest growing fantasy motorsports app yet? On Grid Rival, you can join leagues with your friends and manage your own fantasy team on what race fans are calling, hands down, the best fantasy motorsport app out there. F1 and MotoGP leagues are now live for the 2021 season. Joining a league on Grid Rival will make every race more exciting, more engaging, and of course, more competitive. Download Grid Rival now on your iPhone or Android smartphone. Grid Rival is an unofficial application and not associated with Formula One, MotoGP, or any of their athletes.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that Makoni Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flags Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at Makoni Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, Makoni Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to MakoniSetupShop.com and learn why Makoni Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Newton, Iowa, and the Iowa Speedway, where tonight the stars and cars of the iRacing Indy Pro 2000 Championship will take to one of the world's fastest short tracks. My name is Chris Graham with the National Racing Network. It is a pleasure to have you joining us this evening, and as always, joined here on the Indy Pro 2000 broadcast by Mr. James Watson and Mr. Sebastian Kinder. And I'll tell you what here, James, we're looking at a pretty spectacular race coming up here tonight. Iowa's always great for racing.
I don't think Iowa has ever even really produced a bad race. Like, even going back to last night's RIL race here at Iowa in the IR18s, like a car that is always terribly subjected to dirty air, and you had all kinds of ridiculous battles and three-wide battle for the lead in an Indy car. So imagine what it's going to be with these cars that are not nowhere near as aero-dependent. It's going to be awesome, especially with we've got a lot more talent that we haven't really seen a whole lot, like Alex Van de Sande.
I was just about to say, Seb, we've got some interesting names here that, quite frankly, how often do you see a race where Greg Seitz is not the #1 plate? Tonight, that belongs to Nicholas Sudik as Alex Van de Sant goes to the top of the charts. We've got road course specialists, the regular names we see up front, and all the road course ringers, or the oval track ringers, I should say.
But Greg still manages to have one in his car. That's how it is. But having the second lowest number, that's not something we're used to see. And yeah, I mean, like Alex Van de Sant, Simon Fell, Jason Owens, Frank Noon, Greg Seitz, and even J.W. Miller. Let's not talk about what happened with J.W. or else it's just going to the depression again. Yeah, a lot of different talents, and I think we're in for a ride tonight.
Yeah, this one's going to be fun for sure. Let's get you tonight's weather conditions brought to you by our fine folks at the Weather Center. 69-degree ambient temperature. Nice. 220 degrees is the weather. That's going to be coming out of the southwest. A track temperature is 71 degrees. A little bit on the cool side here, but definitely a whole lot more to work with for these drivers than what we saw out of the Ezra IndyCar race just a little bit ago. Give you the rundown of the best lap times here as qualifications are ongoing. Alex Van de Sant, 21.334 seconds. Simon Fell, Nagisa Yoshikawa, Andrew Berry, and Jason Owens, your top 5. And we'll be able to give you a little bit of a pretty interesting perspective here. We're going to have an in-car camera on Jason Owens tonight, but not the typical in-car camera that you're used to. We'll actually, let's see. Well, he's not on the racetrack, so we can't show it to you yet. But we'll actually be able to show you Jason Owens sitting inside his sim cockpit here. Pick up Everett Paddock as he is completing lap number 1. No quick time, top of the board, 21.301 seconds. Everett Paddock has been ridiculously quick all week long here. It's the word we're getting pre-race is that as Everett Paddock goes even quicker, 21.220 seconds. He found that 10th. Wow. Big lap there. Second. And Greg Seitz is going to line up second. Basically what it sounds like in terms of speed, it's been Everett Paddock, Greg Seitz, and Andrew Berry. And then you have Frank Wynn, Jason Owens, some of the other drivers. They're kind of, and this is literally, they're a 10th off. I mean, they're really not much off at all.
You know, what I'm really looking forward to see is watching Jason Owens 5 and 7th, and then Jason Owens 6th coming from the back. That's gonna be an interesting one.
That's fantastic. Jason Owens has managed to register himself twice for this race. So one of them, the Jason Owens 6 account, will take a pretty hefty hit here in iRating. Cars are going to start to pop in on to the starting grid, and we'll get you the starting lineup here. Starting all on the pole for this one will be Everett Paddock with a pole time, 21.220 seconds. Greg Seitz a full 10th back, which is kind of an odd thing to see here at the Iowa Speedway. Alex Van de Sant, Simon Fell going to make up row number 2. Nagisa Yoshikawa and Andrew Berry on row number 3. Jason Owens and Nicholas Sudik on row 4. Row 5, I'll have James Allen and Mike Holler. Row 6, Frank Wynn and J.W. Miller. Matt Hollaball and Andy Corsa going to make up row number 7. Row 8, Joseph Tebben and Riley Thompson. AJ Green and Mexico's Diego Ortiz will line up on row number 9. And there's Jason Owens again, but that car will not be starting the race here. But Big smooth move of the race to Jason Owens. Well done, sir. Before you even get into the server.
He was set up by Jason Owens 7. It was clear as day.
So let's take a look here, and we got to look here at Jason Owens. Let's drag him down into the booth here. We just moved him around, so he's looking up at us weird. Jason, you look good in the cockpit there. You ready to go here for a pretty long race here at Iowa?
Yeah, sorry, just getting the car started up here. Man, this is a strong field. Anybody, if I hadn't raced a couple times at Everett and seen how fast he is here, I'd say anybody in the top 10 could win this thing, but he's like alien fast. But it's going to be a good race. I hope we put on a good show for you guys on NRN.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. We'll let you get ready to roll here, and there you go. You had a good look at Jason Owens there inside the race car, and I'll tell you what here, guys. This one is going to be absolutely spectacular. Everett Paddock and Greg Seitz will lead the field to green. They should get 2 pace laps here. The track's under 1 mile in length.
Pace car lights are off, so...
Yeah, lights are off, but that's just the way the pace car starts by default, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're still going at it, so... Okay, so guys, prediction time. Who will win?
Man, that's tough. Go ahead, James. You call this one first, because you're putting the evil on somebody here.
Can I pick Jason Owens 6?
No.
Curses. I have a lot of respect for him. No offense. I want us to see a unique winner tonight. I'm going to pick Greg Seitz. I'm putting that evil on Ricky Bobby.
Oh, look at that. All right. I tell you what, I would not be surprised to see an Alex Van de Sant, Jason Owens, but I think Simon Fell's going to win this thing here tonight.
Yeah, Alex is coming off of winning the Turbo race here just a few hours ago, so he can easily go 2-2.
70 laps the distance. Green flags in the air. We are racing here at Iowa. Everett Paddock jumps out to an early lead. Good side-by-side battle. Well, quite frankly, from about second on back now is Greg Seitz and Alex Van de Sant going to battle. Van de Sant down to the inside. Seitz on the outside. That battle settles in. The one behind it does not. Nagisa Yashikawa, Andrew Berry side-by-side off too.
Man, Andrew made a risky move trying to put the car on the outside of Nagisa. It was a great job to pull that off and not take them both out. That was impressive.
Yeah, you're not allowed a single centimeters of mistake or inch if you're an American.
Jason Owens down to the inside of Nagisa Yashikawa. Simon Fell down 3 spots from the drop of the green flag. Racing absolutely fantastic throughout the field here. Simon Fell going to look to the inside of Yashikawa. See Matt Wagner lighting up the comments. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it. Peter Drayton checking into the comments, giving Simon some hype here. Let us know where you're watching from. Give it a like and a share if you're enjoying the show here.
Ooh.
You know, watching Sudik in the Surge paint scheme, it's really throwing me a loop because I keep thinking that James Curtis is in this race.
Yeah, James Curtis runs that same paint scheme in the TNT PM18 All Oval Series. And I tell you what here, guys, I'm a little bit surprised to see how this race has, I mean, it's really settled in. We're seeing a little bit of dueling in spots, but 6 laps in the books, and Everett Paddock is out to an almost 1 second lead over Greg Seitz.
Yeah, it's That is surprisingly quiet. As I say, like I see Simon Fell trying to go on the inside of Nagisa Yoshikawa.
Off of 4 and down the front straightaway, Fell trying to get to the inside of Yoshikawa's number 13. Again, the numbers go by your oval iRating here, so that's why we're seeing some different drivers with different numbers. Yoshikawa is definitely not a number 13 driver in this series, but because it's on an oval, he doesn't run a ton of them. The iRating basically puts him fairly deep in the pack here. We're side by side. Alex Van de Sant and Andrew Berry going to battle side by side.
Andrew's got a hot rod. He is fast, and he's been fast all week.
I'm not sure if this is Peter, Clark, or Oliver checking in from the Weather Center, but that doesn't look like Clay at all. No, we made reference to that in the Fox Sports tweet about the Tennessee Clay when the trucks were racing at Knoxville, Iowa.
Oh, it's heading up back there with Nagisa. And they're almost free wide.
Sudik trying to go up the middle and 2 for 1.
Oh, and Frank's looking. Oh, he wanted to make it 3 wide through the middle.
Do it.
It can. I made mention last night at the RIL, we were 3 wide for the lead, and somehow we made it through without any issues.
This is a racetrack that has just enough banking that you can carry a ton of speed through the corners, even all the way up high. 3 wide will absolutely work here at this racetrack. Alex Van de Sant, Andrew Berry, Jason Owens going to be dueling. This is 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Greg Seitz is catching in on Everett Paddock.
Oh yeah, he's right on his diffuser now, like 2 tenths behind him.
He's gotten there, but getting past him is going to be the big story there. Are you able to pass here?
I mean, now, Chris, like we've seen this a lot of times now. This race, like someone will go on the inside, and they will pass, and then the guy on the outside will have a better run out of the second or fourth turn, and just pass back.
It's definitely a lot different with it being a car trying to pass another car with clean air. A lot of the moves we've seen, there's been some sort of hampering some dirty air to make it at least a little equal. For Greg, it's going to be a lot harder with Everett having completely clean track up ahead. It's not possible, but it's definitely going to be significantly more difficult.
Well, it's a fair question to ask then. If you're Greg Seitz, do you just sit there and wait until you catch lap traffic? At this point, we're 17 laps into this race already. We may not see a caution flag.
It's definitely a great and viable strategy. The only thing is that you run the risk of burning your stuff up hanging behind. Even if you're not going as hard, just kind of waiting, you're still scrubbing your tires a lot more in the dirty air than what Everett has to deal with. So it's a good strategy, but he's definitely putting himself at risk of essentially waiting too long to boil it down.
Jason Owens down to the inside of Andrew Berry. He's going to get that pass completed. Get up into the draft of Alex Van de Sant. They'll have to really put some work in to catch race leaders Everett Paddock and Greg Seitz.
Slingshot engaged.
So we're approaching 20 laps coming up on the scoreboard here, and we haven't done one of these yet here tonight. What do you think, race fans? How about we give you at home a chance to crank it up? 20 of 70 laps complete, almost 21 already. Everett Paddock, Greg Seitz out to a 2-second lead over third place running Alex Van de Sant, who's going to have Jason Owens and Andrew Berry in tow. Starting to see sort of almost separate packs starting to develop here. Nicholas Sudik, Nagisa Yashikawa, Simon Fell going to headline this group of cars. Yashikawa looking to the inside. Yashikawa inside of Sudik. He'll claim the position. But there, just like you talked about, Seb, you get the great run off the high side of the corner. You keep the momentum wound up in the car, and it really is almost like a slingshot off the corner.
Oh, absolutely. But like, oh, a little bit of a slide job there from Gisa.
And the only issue with running in packs here is if the car's just back behind this group. So Frank Wynn, Mike Holler, James Allen, what you're really... big trouble on the front straightaway. Alex Van de Sant goes around.
What happened?
Let's get you the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay cranked up here and show you exactly what happened to Alex Van de Sant.
Car seems to be driving okay after that.
He just lost it. He just lost it. That's weird.
Yeah, he saw the back end of the car step around. Wow, what an avoidance mover by Andrew Berry.
Wow. Ooh. Now, usually you should wait a bit before trying to go back on the track, or like he should have put it in reverse. But then again, like he's trying as soon as possible to get back on the track.
Let's give you another look at this on board with Andrew Berry. Oh, just a little breathe of the throttle. Sees the yellow lights come on, and
personally, I would like to see the view of Jason Owens 5 and what his real life face looked like trying to avoid that.
People in the pits, wow.
I say a little bit of potential strategy here. You do have the ability to make some adjustments to the car.
Oh, Joseph missed his pit box.
So Alex Van de Sant going to come down pit road here. He'll take fresh tires. I mean, we are 27 laps in. Could there be enough of a benefit that for, especially Alex with the flat spotting that I would assume he has on his tires, he's got the pace and fresh rubber. That may be the special sauce to at least get back towards the front.
Yeah, it's not a terrible idea, especially when you've already been kind of running near the back, near mid-pack anyways. There's no harm. The risk really outweighs the reward because you're going to be coming out where you were anyways.
I mean, if you're down there, like, yeah, it's easier to take the risk. I mean, we saw that a lot in Ezra IndyCar for the big 1.5 mile Skookie car there.
Seeing the marbles start to fill in on the top side of the racetrack. Should it come into play, at least not too heavily here, is race leader Everett Paddock having a little bit of a connection issue there.
I mean, Chris, you're talking about the marbles.
Go ahead.
Sorry, you're talking about the marbles. Like, remember Rismonds, where it was absolutely gnarly?
That was the dirtiest I have ever seen a racetrack on the iRacing platform. 3-hour-long multi-class race at Bristol Motor Speedway. I mean, getting on and off of pit road was like getting on ice. So we should see the lights go out here on the iRacing safety car this time by, and we'll go back to green flag racing, working lap number 29. Lap cars have to head to the back. There are none of those right now. Restarts are single file. Cannot pass to the inside until you get to the start-finish line. A well-timed pass can be absolutely perfect. Misjudge it just a little bit, though, and you're going to get the drive-through penalty. And that's one of the reasons that you'll see all the drivers get up towards the outside safer barrier once they get to turns 3 and 4. Everett Paddock keeping a pretty tight gap to the safety car. I'll tell you what, though, he's leaving a little bit of room for Greg Seitz up here on the outside. Green flag's back out. Oh, but they're going to accordion big time towards the back of the pack. We are going to go right back to caution.
Oh.
J.W. Miller, Diego Ortiz involved in that one. Show you the replay here, and you'll watch everybody start to accordion up. Looked like either Yashikawa or Frank Wynn didn't get going, and it just stacked everybody up in a big way. Nice drive by Alex Van de Sant to get through that. Show you this one from Alex Van de Sant's perspective. Jam on the brakes, get clear of everybody. It's the smart way to do it.
And remember, no quick repair for this one. So if you damage the car, it's damaged.
Yeah, that's it. You're in a world of hurt. So it looks like we're going to have Andy Corsa, AJ Green heading down pit road. Also, J.W. Miller, Diego Ortiz had to take the toe in. Let's see if we can't sneak a word in here with Jason Owens, because he had a pretty darn good perspective of that one. And I'll tell you what here, Jason, the start looked like the leaders got everybody stacked up and with just accordion back behind it. Was it that slow of a restart?
It felt a little slow, but not like suboptimal slow. Like it was leader prerogative slow. I'm just bummed because I don't think I'll ever get another jump that good on Greg Seitz in my iRacing career. I nailed that start, man, and then I was gonna make a move on him coming out of 2, and then I get caution, and it's just like my heart sank. So we'll see if we can do it again here, but that was definitely a code brown there when Alex spun in front of me, but we got some good racing out here going on.
Yeah, this one has been fun. So thank you very much for checking in with us again here. We'll let you ready to go back to green flag racing in another lap or so.
So Everett actually started very early, exam of 24, and Greg didn't he had a lot of time. He was slow on the uptake, so that's allowed Jason to get a better start. Now let's see what Everett will do.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting things here was that Everett. I mean, like Jason said, it may have been a little slow, but not anything crazy. However, Greg had a pretty sizable gap as well. He probably could have tried to time that one almost to perfection. And it kind of started with Everett was slow. That made Greg a little slow, Jason a little slow. By the time you get towards the back of the pack, everybody's nose to tail, and there is no reaction time there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, James, I do not look forward for those restarts at Ezra. So the two positions I want to be on a restart, first or second?
You know, it's really a great question, because if you think you know what the leader's going to do, you want to be second. The problem is the leader gets to make that call. And again, they're leaving a lot of space towards the top of the racetrack. Pace car is in. Oh, man, another fantastic start for Jason Owens. He's going to be tucked right in on Greg Seitz as they get to 1.
Oh!
Big move by Owens down to the inside.
Oh, is it a slide job? No. Oh, Gray's going to pull back around.
And with the connection issues that Everett Paddock is having, this could end up being a fight for the race win. If the computers decide that Paddock has lost the connection solidly enough. Side by side, a little bit further back in the pack here. Frank Wynn, Simon Fell going to be battling right behind Nicholas Sudik. Keeping an eye on these tight battles all over the racetrack here at the Iowa Speedway.
Everett is gone.
We saw this last time. Everett checked out. Greg Seitz was able to catch back in, however, and Seitz is opening up the gap on Jason Owens. Owens actually going to be fighting with Andrew Berry. Duel into turn 1, Mike Collar, James Allen.
Ooh.
Kind of hard to pick what battle you want to watch here because everybody is fairly tight, but not I'm ready to make the pass tight. And I mean, we're now past the halfway point here as we're working lap number 41. You really start to find that rhythm, and it almost takes you a lap or two to set the pass up.
It may take even longer for that. Like, you know, like this is... Okay, so in Phoenix, we had the Gunslinger event. Red Bull Ring was the dogfight, and the last few road courses was a sword fight. Here, it's a poker match. You have your chips, you have your cards, and you have to play them right in order to gain a position.
I thought it was a corn fight because, you know, Iowa and whatnot.
Oh.
I'm just imagining people sword fighting with corn cobs.
my
not
French...
even going near that one. Simon Fell inside of Frank Wynn. He's going to claim the spot. James Allen, Mike Holler going to continue their hostilities. But Alex Van de Sant right there with him. Van de Sant with a nice recovery. He's back up to the 11th position. He's about as high as you're going to see anyone go on the racetrack. So it's Mike Holler, Alex Van de Sant, James Allen. Just back behind them, another side-by-side fight. Andy Corsa and Matt Hollabaugh. This is what I absolutely love about the Iowa Speedway. Doesn't matter where you look on the racetrack, you're going to have a battle somewhere in the field.
This track is the perfect combination of a short track and a mile and a half. Like, you have the pack racing. Ooh. Yeah, the pack racing of a mile and a half, but you have also the elements of short track racings of 3/4 and a half a mile. So I think it's the best of both worlds, to be honest.
Oh, wow, that was...
Ooh. And he's gonna have the outside line, so... So you'll have a good run.
Yeah, I say that's almost where you make the move. You get the great run off the corner, then dive back down to the inside. The problem is the car on the outside still has the advantage of having the momentum wound up. Let's look towards the front here. Jason Owens, Andrew Barry battling for the third and final podium position. There you see the race leaders, and once again, Everett Paddock has the short run speed, but Greg Seitz makes the long run work. So we're going to be down to 20 laps to go next time by.
So James, if you were in Greg's position, what would you do right now?
I'd continue kind of doing what I was doing, knowing that that's working and that's reeling him in. Try to move around the racetrack and see if there's any different line I can take that might be able to get me a few tenths, and more importantly, might be able to get me some clean air to try and get around him.
Hey, James, that's really a pretty big point here, is that you still have to have some air on the front wings of these cars in order to make them turn.
Yep, and with Everett having all of it on his car, it's that much more important that Greg gets a good run or a good line and as much air as he can get on it, because he's fighting an uphill battle getting past Everett with all those advantages.
Mike Holler, James Allen continuing to battle here. Frank Wynn, Alex Van de Sant just ahead of them on the racetrack as well. Holler able to get to the inside of Wynn through 1 and 2.
Ooh, that mid-pack racing is so good today.
.55 laps complete, 15 to go here at the Iowa Speedway. Everett Paddock continuing to hold the lead over Greg Seitz. Coming around the lap car of Diego Ortiz.
No, that would be AJ Green.
Man, every time you see Paddock disappear like that, your heart kind of skips a beat, hoping it comes back.
Oh, I know.
We want to see this fight late in the race. Jason Owens, Andrew Berry going to continue their fight for the third position. Owens doing a good job of keeping that low lane blocked off. Swings the car wide on corner exit. Really not giving Andrew Berry anywhere to work. Alex Van de Sant continuing his nice recovery drive here to get up to the 7th position.
So on my table, he's 5.696 seconds of the leader. Nice.
Slide back up towards the front of the pack here as we're going to be down to 10 laps to go. We may have found Greg Seitz's Achilles heel, and it's only left-hand turns. He was just about perfect heading into this week. With 7 weeks on his scorecard, 20 starts, 15 wins, 18 top fives, 15 poles, leading 354 of 546 possible laps. Greg Seitz with a 320-point lead over Mitch Green.
Oh, now Greg is starting to put the pressure on. Like, he's a lot closer, so he'll try some. I think he'll try something turn one, guys.
Here's
He's
the
looking.
move inside of turn number 1. Sights to the inside, Paddock to the outside. Was Greg Seitz just biding his time?
The outside lane doesn't look as powerful as before.
It's still hanging in there.
This is going to be an incredible race to the finish.
Ooh, too
Seitz
really
almost able to clear him off at 2.
Oof. Man, that is so good.
That time by, it was Greg Seitz leading at the start-finish line. The lap before, it was Everett Paddock by almost identical margins. They're going to continue to fight side by side. 4 straight laps. Outstretched palm at the start-finish line. 5 laps to go here at Iowa.
And you know, this side-by-side action, who does it benefit? Jason and Andrew, who are drafting right now together.
Yep,
So,
you can see them. They're in the shot now.
Could the 2-car Tango be a 4-car Fiesta on the way to the checkered flag here? They're still side by side for the race lead. They're 5 laps deep like this.
Jason and Andrew are eating into the gap. It is now down to a second. They are almost there to join this party.
And they're right close enough now where they're going to start to not only have the drafting help that each other are getting, but they're going to get the pull from these 2 cars running side by side. I don't think it's going to be enough, though, as we're down to 2 laps to go. Everett Paddock at the line by a half that time by.
They just cut down almost a half a second on that last lap. They are coming.
I think Jason will have one shot coming onto the backstretch in the final lap.
Paddock and Seitz still side by side. Who's going to lead the drag race to the line this time by? White flag is out. It was Everett Paddock by half a car length at the line. Into 1 and 2 for the final time. Paddock, Seitz, still side by side. Jason Owens right there with a shot as well. Into 3 and 4. Paddock gets the big power move to the outside. Here comes Owens inside. Checkered flag is out. Everett Paddock claims the win. Greg Seitz, Jason Owens, Andrew Berry. How about a quarter of a second first to third?
Insane.
Wow. That unreal.
Once again, Iowa Speedway proves why it's the best damn oval track in auto racing. Good Lord, that was ridiculous.
I think what played into it was those 2 cars that came back, because the draft, it falls for the guys behind, but it also falls for the guy in front. So that means having Jason and Andrew behind Everett, that allowed Everett to have more speed on the straight and go by Greg. But man, what a battle. Like, they were 10 laps, 10 whole laps that were fighting side by side. That was amazing.
Let's get you your race results here. Everett Paddock by a 1/10 and a half over Greg Seitz, called a car length and a half at the line. Jason Owens coming home third, a quarter of a second back. Andrew Berry, Nagisa Ashikawa, your top 5. Alex Van de Sant with an incredible recovery drive back to the 6th position. 7th goes to Nicholas Sudik. Simon Fell in 8th. Mike Holler and James Allen complete your top 10. 11th, Andy Corsa. 12th, Matt Hollabaugh. 13th, the Frank Wynn. 14th, J.W. Miller. 15th, Joseph Tebben. Riley Thompson, A.J. Green, and Diego Ortiz round out your field on an absolutely incredible night of racing here from the Iowa Speedway. Pick things up here for the Victory Lane interviews with none other than Jason Owens. I'll tell you what here, Jason, that was about as much fun as we should be allowed to have watching one of these races. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, man, I'm kind of speechless there. I was waiting for them to start battling and give time back, and they did, and I almost got there. If they'd started one lap earlier, I mean, it's Everett Paddock and Greg Seitz. You already know I was throwing it 3 wide if I got the chance. So it was going to be full send, but man, those two guys are just absolute great racers. Looked like a pretty good race up and down the field. Really mixed up the Oval Championship with Frank finishing down the order. And, man, I just got to give a lot of credit to Andrew and Nagisa. You know, they're a lot of fun to drive around. And, man, thanks for putting on this broadcast. I think this is like the Indy Pro 2000 week. There's some absolutely fantastic IP2K races this week.
I was going to say, I made the comment that Iowa Speedway is the best damn oval in auto racing. There's some others that may try to stake the claim there, but in terms of the on-track product, is there anything better than what you see tonight? It doesn't matter what kind of car you put out here at Iowa. The racing is just always fantastic.
It always is, and you know this series. I'm super thrilled to see a split tonight and 2 big field splits. We got some really great drivers in this series, and I wish more people could understand how good these cars and these drivers in this series is. It's the best combined oval and road car on the service, and I think we showed that tonight.
Yeah, that one was a ton of fun, and well, I don't think we're going to see you next week for the Chicago Street Race, but
yes, you are.
Oh my goodness!
So I've been waiting until I swap my rig out to my Semi Cube 2 and my new rims to get back on the road, and I'm spending all day Saturday and Sunday moving my rig to another room and getting it all set up, and you'll see me next Thursday night on Chicago Street.
Well, there you go. Hey, looking forward to that one, bud. So a lot to look forward to here, that's for sure. Great podium finish for you tonight here. Who do you want to thank?
Big thanks to Riley Children's Hospital, Extra Life for Kids, Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. They take all kids, any kid that's sick, whether their family can pay or not. They put them in the hospital. They take care of them and get them well. Make sure you go out and support your local Children's Miracle Network hospitals. They're doing the Lord's work. So just got to give big props to CMNH.
All right, Jason, thank you very much. We appreciate the time here, bud. And let's pick up our runner-up finisher here this evening. Greg Seitz. Greg, it's not often that we talk to you as a runner-up here, but my God, was that race spectacular.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was really fun racing Everett. He did such a great job, out up front. And then, I kind of was biding my time to wait for both a gap to develop between the guys behind us. And then, I wanted to kind of make my move while I still had something left in my tires.
When you started to make that move, you guys were side by side for the last 10 laps of this race. Was it making you nervous seeing in the relative that the gap to Jason and Andrew was closing very, very quickly over those last couple laps?
I didn't have any time to look in the relative. I thought we had enough gap, so I just went for it. I didn't have a chance to look down.
Oh, that's awesome. You know what? It was a fantastic battle, and ultimately, it really goes to show how good the PM18s are, whether it's a natural terrain road course, the ovals, or next week we're going to try out the new Chicago street course for the first time. What are you thinking as we head into that race week?
I don't know. That's going to be interesting. I did a couple practice laps today out there, and boy, is that a bumpy track. So I think soft suspension is going to be the order of the day, and then probably playing a little conservatively in the race so you don't touch a wall, because you touch a wall there and it's all over.
Well, thank you very much, Greg. We appreciate the time, and let's make sure we get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous in before we let you go here.
Yeah, first and foremost, thanks to Everett. It was just great racing. He gave me lots of room and raced super respectfully. And so, yeah, it was really fun being able to race side by side and trust them, that things wouldn't go wrong. But, yeah, and then usual, thank you guys for putting on a great broadcast. And then Rust Racing, my team, to get some practice together, and always helps me in these races.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. Let's bring in your race winner this evening. Everett, we had some discussions with some of the other drivers pre-race, and they said you and Greg were 1 and 1A in terms of raw pace. How do you guys run side by side for 10 laps like that, other than just being spectacularly talented?
Oh, that's very generous. I mean, it's good setups. I mean, there was good setups shared in the forums and stuff, and I think when I tip my hat to Greg, to be able to run side by side with him so long like that was it's really cool to be able to run with a fast guy that you can trust in the corners that way. So that was a lot of fun.
The race, we asked Greg this question, and I'll see what your response to the same thing is. You're battling for the race win, but were you checking the relative, and did it concern you at all seeing Jason and Andrew catching as quickly as they were over the last couple laps?
Definitely. I was watching it, and I was like, when are they going to catch us, and what happens when they do? Are they going to be able to are they going to be able to pass us? I didn't think they'd be able to pass us. So I thought that was probably playing into it, but I was definitely watching that, definitely wondering, should I just give up and get in line? That crossed my mind. Obviously, I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, and the one that Sebastian mentioned during the broadcast was, I think it was Sebastian, it might have been James, but you may have had a little bit of draft help from Jason and Andrew down the back straightaway. Was that the little bit of a push? Because you and Greg were equal on pace.
I don't know if I got a push from that or not. It certainly seemed like that. I think Greg was having to drive a really tight line, and it was hurting him getting off a little bit. And my car was a little tight, and actually moving up seemed to help it a little bit. So it was kind of a combination of those two things. I think that and it may have been a draft, but certainly I got a little bit. I noticed that I pulled ahead there right before those guys came up to us. So I felt like maybe I had a chance.
Well, it was a fantastic drive and an absolutely epic show that this entire field put on tonight. So thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. And who do you want to get the big thank yous out to?
Well, I want to thank I got to thank Greg for that close racing. That was something I'm going to remember for a while. That was like I said, a real gentleman, a lot of fun to race someone with a lot of class like that. Thank you guys for putting the race on like you do. It was fun stuff, and thanks again to the community managers and the guys that supply the steps in the forum. I'll just say this is that the answers are in the forum. If there are people wondering where the pace is, I didn't do anything special.
Well, it certainly looked special, at least from what we saw. So thank you very much, Everett. We appreciate the time, and looking forward to talking to you more over the next week or so. And I'll tell you what here, guys, that was as spectacular of a race as you're ever going to see.
Can we have more?
Right? My jaw is still on the floor. Like, we need more ovals on the schedule. The ovals never fail to produce an awesome race.
I agree.
Yeah, this race was absolutely incredible this evening, and get you the nice wide shot here of the Iowa Speedway. Coming up next week, it'll be the Windy City Grand Prix at the Chicago Street Course. Follow it up with the Monza Grand Prix layout, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway, and the Nürburgring Nordschleife to round out the season. Pretty rapidly heading in here to the last 5 weeks or so of season number 3 for 2021. We're looking forward to a lot of spectacular racing coming up here over the next few weeks. But with that, we'll wrap up our coverage here for this evening. For Sebastian Kinder, James Watson, and everybody else here at the National Racing Network, my name is Chris Graham. It has been a pleasure to have you with us this evening. We will talk to you soon. Have a great night, everybody.